Hi, guys. Welcome back to Banter with Brooke. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's podcast episode. My name is Brooke, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So, as you can see from the title and thumbnail, I'm going to be talking about grief today. And I know this can be a sensitive topic for some people. And so just brace yourselves. I'm in a pretty good mood today. So I'm wearing makeup. So I'm hoping I don't cry in this episode. But if I do, that's okay. It's the end of the day. So if I cry this makeup off, it's all right. But I have been wanting to make an episode about grief for a while. And I feel like this is a good time to do it because actually yesterday, the day, whatever, yesterday for me was the anniversary of one of my close friends passing. And it was 4 years since he's passed away. And I actually cannot believe it's been that long. It's unfathomable to me. Like the fact that he was 19 when he passed away, and now I'm 22 and he was older than me. I was like 18, I believe, when he passed away. So it's just like now that I'm older, it's just so weird and I really don't like it. But I will never stop talking about him. I will never stop talking about anybody in my life that has passed away. But specifically, my friend who passed away yesterday, 4 years ago, his name is Danny, and I want to say his name and acknowledge him. And Danny, wherever you are in the universe, I love you and I think about you always, and you are everything. So that is kind of what inspired me making this episode now. Like I said, I've been wanting to make an episode about grief, but I've just kind of been in a good mood and not wanting to talk about that. Or when I'm sad, I don't want to talk about it either because it's just going to make me more sad. So I've never really found the right time, but right now feels like the right time. So yeah, basically it was the anniversary of his passing, and I just can't believe the whole concept even of death is just crazy. Well, for me, I don't necessarily believe in like heaven, but I do think that our souls, I don't really know, which I've talked about this before on previous episodes. I do think there is something more in the afterlife, but I don't even think humans are made to even comprehend it, to be honest. I think we'll all figure it out when we get there, but I think there's multiple different theories, obviously, different religions. Some people believe in absolutely nothing happens when they pass. There's multiple different theories on what happens, and I think honestly probably none of them are right. I think we're all going to be surprised when we find out what is actually going on. But I think it's going to be a good thing that we're going to be surprised. And I don't know. It gives me hope because I do think that our souls will be able to see the other like people on the other side. Like I think I will be able to talk to my loved ones that have passed away. I think I will be able to talk to them again. But I also kind of believe in like reincarnation, maybe like our soul like goes somewhere else. I don't really know what I believe in, like I said, but that gives me peace because I do believe that there's something bigger than this. Obviously, I don't believe that we're like human beings. I mean, we are human beings, but I think we are like souls living a human experience. I think everybody and everything is energy, all plants, all animals, us as humans, we're all energy. And I think when our physical body dies, that energy, you know what you learn in school in science, energy cannot be created nor destroyed. So the energy from us when we die has to go somewhere. So Yeah, I don't know, but we will figure it out. But the first ever death that I remember experiencing that like really truly had an effect on me was my grandma. She passed away in 2017 in the summer I was going into high school. So my summer after graduating 8th grade, she passed away July 2nd, 2017. And it's so weird too how like every death is like different because my grandma, it was like very upsetting. Like I said, it was my first ever like death I'd experienced. But my grandma also had Alzheimer's for as long as I even knew her, really. Like most of my memories with her, sadly, are when she already had Alzheimer's, and her Alzheimer's was like she wouldn't even speak. She would just like make random noises. Like some people who have like dementia and stuff, they still like talk to you. They just are like talking nonsense, talking about whatever. She literally just like didn't speak at all. And I you could tell in her eyes she was thinking about stuff, but she just couldn't say it. And so I never really got to have like a actual conversation with my grandma. So I feel like that death, I saw my grandma all the time. She lived with me my whole life until maybe 4 years before she passed away. We put her in a nursing home because it was hard on my grandpa when we were at school all day and my mom was at work all day for him to have to take care of her by himself because he would have to like change her diapers and feed her and do all that stuff. It was like a baby basically, but a heavy baby because she's a grown woman. So, um, yeah, it was a little hard for him. But even when we put her in the nursing home, we were there every single day. Like one of my grandma had 6 children. So literally throughout the week, one of her 6 kids was there to feed her lunch. And my grandpa was there every single day for those 4 years to feed her dinner. And Saturday was usually my mom's day because she worked full time during the week. And so I would go with my mom almost every Saturday and feed my grandma lunch and be with her at the nursing home. Like I was around my grandma all the time. But it was just a different kind of death because I feel like I didn't get to know her fully. And it actually frustrates me a lot. I really wish I got to know my grandma. And I know you guys know that I like to sew, and she was very good at sewing. She is like sewn so many beautiful things. And I just know that like she would be teaching me how to sew and we would be laughing. I also was just like, oh, I wish my grandma was like able to meet my friends. Like I just would love, I know my grandma was such an awesome person from all the stories I hear, and I know we have a lot of similar traits. And so her death was very different. It was still affected me and it was very hard. But like I said, I feel like I sadly didn't know her fully. And the other, but my friend Danny's passing was unexpected. He got into an accident, and a motorcycle accident. And it's like, I feel weird talking about it because I don't want to like, if people like his other friends that are my friends that are his friends and like his family to like be upset about this, but I don't think they would be upset. But he was 19. It was so unexpected. And I was actually supposed to hang out with him. I don't want to go too much into that whole story because I don't know. I kind of just want to like have it for myself, I guess. But I was supposed to be hanging out with him the day that he passed away. We were supposed to hang out later that night. And I just remember like texting him and he wasn't answering. I was like, oh, guys, I guess like Danny's not coming. He hasn't answered me. And then later that day, finding out that he passed was just like so unfathomable. Like I didn't believe it for so long. And I was just sobbing. Like that was probably the worst week of my entire life. Worst month, honestly. September 2021, I was a wreck. First of all, it was my first year. It was after high school. I did one semester of community college, and it also was during like COVID. So that time was like all messed up. I was not even in the school or learning like mindset at all. It was really hard for me to focus. I was already struggling with the class. It was like so hard. And then like a month, not even into school, into my first semester of college, he passed away. And so I literally was like not focused on school at all. I literally was a shell of a human being. Like he was such a close friend of mine. And like I said, he was young. He was someone I talked to every day. Like it was just such a different feeling. And it really, I can't describe the feeling. Like I literally, like I said, felt like a shell of a person, just so hollow and miserable, and I just couldn't believe it. And I have had a lot of people in my life, actually, a lot of people around my age as well, pass away. And I just want to give a shout out and say their names. Shout out to my Annie Flo, which is my grandma's sister. She's also passed away. Shout out to my grandma. Shout out to Danny. Shout out to my friend Noah. Shout out to my friend Colin. There is more people that I know that have passed away, but they just weren't like, if you want me to really like go out this list, like obviously I could sit here forever, but those were the main people and friends of mine that really have affected. Okay, that's not what I mean. Everybody's death affects me. But those are the people I was closest with, I guess you could say, that have passed away. And I just wanted to give a shout out to them, say their names, keep them living on, because they deserve to. They deserve to be talked about. Like I don't want them to be forgotten about. And I've asked them to like give me signs, and Danny's given me multiple signs. I've been walking and just saw his name just written on a tree randomly, or I've asked him to come into my dreams and he's been in my dreams. I don't want to say them again because I kind of want things just for me selfishly. But he's come into my dreams. But Noah, my friend Noah, has been very vocal. I feel like he's given me physical signs. Oh, my grandma as well. Every time I see a dragonfly, I know it's my grandma. And also for me, when I think something's a sign, I automatically just take it as a sign, because I know that the reason my brain is, because I see things like random things, random whatever. If my brain is telling me this is a sign, it has to be a sign. And I always think of my grandma as a dragonfly. I don't know why. I just felt it. I just felt that when my grandma passed away, she's a dragonfly. Or maybe I like said like we should pick something. I don't know. And I felt dragonfly. And during my high school graduation, it was still during COVID, and we had to sit in chairs spaced one away from each other. So it'd be like a kid in this chair, empty chair, kid in this chair, empty chair, whatever. And the chair that was in the row in front of me happened to be one of the empty chairs. And as they're calling rows of kids up one by one to go up to the stage and like grab their diploma and stuff, a dragonfly landed on the chair in front of me, just sat there and was sitting there, hung out with me for a good 15 seconds and flew off. I was like, that was literally my grandma telling me that she's watching and she's congratulating me for graduating, and I couldn't believe it. So that's like another physical sign. But Noah, I remember like a couple days after he had passed away, um we were having a party, like one of my friends was having a party and he was supposed to be at this party. So everybody naturally was just like talking about him, how they miss him, wished that he was there. And everyone was just kind of talking about him the whole night, and I could like feel him. You could feel his presence. And at one point at the party, me and my friends were talking about him, and literally something like hanging on the wall behind me at the party I was at just fell off the wall. Nobody was jumping around, nobody was touching it. It just fell off the wall. And then also that same night I got home from the party, it was probably like 3 or 4 in the morning. And I was going to bed. I finally just like got in my bed after this long night being at this party, 3 a.m. I turn my lights off. I'm getting ready for bed. I'm just scrolling on my phone a little bit. And my bedroom light, you guys can believe me if you want. You don't have to believe me. My bedroom light turned on by itself. And I looked and I was like panicking for a second. And I looked at my light switch and my light switch was still down. Like the lights should have been off. So I was like, what is going on? And so after a little bit, I kind of was just like talking to myself. I'm like, maybe it was Noah. And then I got a little scared. And then I eventually got the courage to get up and I went and turned my light switch back on and the lights were still on. And I turned it off like back. So I flipped it up, stayed on, flipped it back down, and they went off and they stayed off and I went back to bed. But that is like the craziest paranormal or like, I don't know, experience I've ever had, or like the closest thing to having like a paranormal experience was I literally, my lights turned on by themselves. And I just feel, like I said, the universe tells me it's a sign. My brain told me that that was Noah. And so I believe that it was. And shout out all the dead homies for real. Okay. You know, you got to cope with humor sometimes. But there's also different kinds of grief. There's also like grieving old relationships or old friendships that it's not necessarily that someone has passed away, but honestly, like friendship breakups or even real breakups sometimes can feel like that person has passed away. I've experienced many friendship breakups where it was just like cold turkey, cut off, fuck you, goodbye, like to me. And then I just felt so like it literally felt like they were dead to me. Like they were just completely ignoring my calls, my texts, ignoring me in person. Like it was just, it felt horrible. And all of those grieving processes are valid, and also all of them are different. The way you would grieve a romantic relationship is different than the way you would grieve a death, which is different from the way you would grieve a friendship breakup, but they all hurt. I was going to say they all equally hurt, but I don't think so. At least from my personal, I think death hurts the most. But I also wanted to talk about, actually, let me bring this up first. Another thing that frustrates me about people like that are so young, like my age, that have passed away is like, I it's so annoying because like I want to, and I will forever continue to talk about them and remember them and think about them and bring them up in conversation. But it's so annoying because it's like I only have old memories. Like every time I talk about them, it's like, oh, remember when they did this? It's like, yes. It's like, it's just so annoying because like I wish I could have more to talk about. Like, I don't know. I wish I could make new memories with them. I wish I could see them and obviously, like, I wish I could see them, talk to them, hang out with them. But it's just like, it's so annoying that like every time I think about them, I can only, like, there's only a bunch of old memories. Like, I want to have the opportunity to make new memories with them, but obviously that can't happen, which is annoying. But I wanted to talk about the different stages of grief, which I'm pretty sure you've all heard about those. We all know about the stages of grief, but I wanted to kind of go into more depth about them. So, the first stage of grief is denial, which is usually always how it goes. And these are all the stages of grief are similar, like I said, to like a breakup or a death. Like you don't believe it at first. Like even like when you break up, in the beginning you may think like, yeah, we broke up, but like you could think in the back of your mind, like denial, like we're going to get back together, or like you think there's a chance you're going to get back together, or you just simply flat out are like, no, we're not breaking up. Like you just simply just deny the fact. And with death, for me at least, I was just like in my head, like it just didn't feel real. I was like, no, like this can't be real. And that has happened with like almost all of my friendships. There's a fuzz that have passed away. I've been like, I don't believe it. Like I never believed it until it really sank in, or it honestly usually took me until their funeral. Well, Danny's death was a little bit different because he was the one that I was closest with, and I was a part. He has so many friends and so many family members and so many people that loved him and still do love him. I shouldn't use past tense. And we were all together, like all of us. His birthday is the 25th of September and he passed on the 5th of September. And that year we still had a whole birthday party for him. Like there's so many people involved in his life and were whatever. So I was kind of there for all these different things. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that none of their deaths really hit me until going to the funeral. And just funerals are just they're so upsetting. And a lot of them had open caskets, which that's also just obviously hard to see, you know, seeing somebody so young, like my age, just it's really hard to see. And so I feel like that's when kind of my stage of denial ended, I guess, because it was like, holy shit, this is really real. Like they're actually gone. And the next one is anger. And I still feel this one all the time because once you stop being in denial and you just get angry, like I said, I'm angry I can't make more memories with them. I'm angry, or like you think about all the things like you wish you would have done or could have said to the person, or you know, all of those things. And it's like you just get angry because you're like, why did they have to pass away so young? Or like my grandma, for example, it's like, why did she have to get Alzheimer's? Like, why does this happen? You just get in like a why standpoint, and it's frustrating, it's angry, but it's the anger. You're angry because you miss them. Like, you know how people, like, even like romantically is what I'm mostly thinking of, like in relationships when people are long distance, they like kind of start arguments for fun just because like they miss each other. It kind of feels like that. Like, not at all, But that's what I'm trying to say. The anger is like you're angry because you miss them and you just want, because I have this quote written down too, that grief is love with nowhere to go. And so all of the stages of grief as well, the anger, the depression, all of it is just these feelings that you have that are built up with nowhere to go because you can't, like, and that is just such a real quote to me. Like, grief is love with nowhere to go. Like, you are just so full. Like, grief is like deeper than sadness. Like, you just feel hollow. Like I said, like, it's just you have it, your love has nowhere to go. And so it feels so overwhelming. And that's what the anger feeling is for me. It's just frustration and upsetness of how I wish, obviously, that they were still here with us. The next stage of grief after anger is bargaining, which I was kind of confused what that meant, but it said like seeking impossible solutions, like just like bargaining with yourself and being like, well, maybe, like, I don't know, like maybe I feel like bargaining is giving like I could have done this, or I'm going to look up more in depth. I'm going to look up bargaining stage of grief. Ooh, okay, I see. The bargaining stage of grief is the third stage where a person attempts to negotiate with a higher power, themselves, or fate to postpone or undo the loss, often through what if thoughts, wishes for miracles, and promises of good behavior. It's a period of intense hope and unrealistic expectations driven by a desire to regain control over a painful reality. Okay, so yeah, it's giving what if, like I said, like you just trying to find solutions, like what if I could have done this, or bargaining, like I said, negotiating with a higher power or fate or whatever to just like please bring a miracle, bring them back. And this stage, I don't know if I ever really, I feel it, but I don't think I ever seriously, obviously I've thought about the what ifs for sure. What if I would have done this? What if I could have said this? But I never really bargain, like bring them back, because I just know that obviously that couldn't happen. But oh, the dreams is what get me. Like, Danny's come into my dreams and it's just like they feel so real. And then I wake up and just feel so disappointed because it's like, come on, I wish it was real. But you can't do anything. So, like, it does not feel like 4 years. Like, what do you mean that I'm 22 years old and he was 19? Like, that's just, oh, like he's such a baby. He was literally a baby. He is a baby. And where are we at? Oh yeah, so that was the third stage, bargaining. The fourth stage is depression, which these stages of grief also, it's not like you're in the denial phase and then you go to the anger phase and you go, like, literally you can feel all of these up and down all day, whatever. Like, I felt the depression immediately, like immediately, sadness for months. Like, you can ask anybody that knows me, any of my family, my friends too, but honestly, a lot of my friends, we were all kind of in the same boat because we were all upset and missing him together. But you can ask anybody, like, I was literally not even a person. Like, I was just so upset. Nothing mattered. Nobody, like, I was just honestly smoking weed every day. Usually I would just like smoke weed at night and just whatever. I was smoking all throughout the day, all night. Just, I didn't care about anything. I was just so depressed, literally. And it's feeling this feeling of like you don't have control, I guess, of the situation. Like you just are so upset that this person's really gone and you can never speak to them again or hang out with them again or hug them again. Like what I would do to give them one last hug, seriously. Oh, I'm so happy I'm in a good mood filming this. Otherwise, this would be a horrible idea. But yesterday I did get to go to his grave. I need to go visit my grandma's grave more often. But I went to my friend's grave. Me and my other friend, we went and brought him flowers and we sat with him and talked with him for a little bit. And I always feel good doing that because it's just nice to get to see him and talk to him, even though, I mean, it's his gravestone, but I still like to. And his picture is on his gravestone, so it's nice to look at him and talk to him. I just wonder what he would look like now. You know what I mean? Like the same, but older. Like all of the friends like were in his friend group. I still see them. It's like they all look the same. We all look the same, but just older. But I want to know what the older version of him looks like too. And I know he would have loved to be on this podcast. Me and him were so close, like especially leading up. Like we didn't talk every day for like a little bit of period of time, but like the months leading up to before he passed away, we were like getting close again, talking all the time. And I just know he would have sat his ass right here, and I know he would have loved to be on this podcast. And he was my number one hype man, literally always rooting for me, always hyping me up. Like I know he would have been so happy for me that I'm trying to do this channel, and I do it for everybody. I do it for myself. I do it for my family, my friends, but I also am doing it for them. I'm doing it for my grandma. I'm doing it for Danny. I'm doing it because he can't do what he wants to do anymore. So I'm here to do what I want to do to hopefully make him proud, because I would love for him to be proud of me. And I know he would have been in one of these episodes, and I know you guys would have loved him. He is literally the easiest person to love. He is so kind, so funny. In high school, he would always help us get our alcohol for the parties. He's slept over at my house so many times, and we just had a blast always. And let's see. Anyway, I got way off topic. Depression is the stage I was on, and that is not a fun stage. That just comes in waves of, you go through phases of being really upset, then being a little bit okay. Now I'm obviously okay. It's been 4 years, but of course I cried yesterday, and of course I still get sad when I think about him. And the last stage is acceptance, which I feel like I'm in that stage right now. Again, all of these stages can happen at any time and pop up. I really have to shit. Oh my God, this is horrible timing. It's okay. I'm going to wrap this up here. But accepting the fact that they are gone and there's nothing you can do, and just honor them, think about them, talk about them. And yeah, that can take some people up to a couple weeks, couple months to accept it. It can take people years to get to acceptance, and some people can never get there. And you know what? That's valid too, because when you love someone so much and they pass away, it is so hard to feel like your life has meaning. Like you always hear people a lot of the time, especially older couples, the other one dies of a broken heart. Like when the first spouse goes, usually the next one goes shortly after. And I do think my grandpa would have passed away a lot sooner if he didn't live with us, because he had people around him We took care of him. We hung out with him. He did have to go on antidepressants though after she passed away because he was very, they were married for like 60 years, like such a long time. And he was very upset and very understandably so. And I think he's still not in the acceptance stage. He thinks about her, talks about her every day, and he misses her so much. And of course, like spending 60 years of your life, that's more of your life you spent with the person than without. And it's just like some people will never accept it and they pass away of a broken heart. And that is honestly beautiful. I actually just saw a TikTok the other day and this guy was crying and he was talking about his grandparents. And I think his grandpa just passed away. And the grandma was saying, or the grandma had planned, like she wanted to be buried. And so the grandpa, he did pass away, but like right before he passed away, he said that he wanted to be cremated because he knew that she wanted to be buried and being buried next to her would have been too far away. So he wanted to get cremated so he can be put in her casket with her so they could be touching forever. Like, shut the actual fuck up. Being next to you would be too far away. He wanted to be with her. So that is just the most beautiful thing ever if I've ever heard that. But yeah, that is basically my episode about grief. Sorry, it's a little bit on the shorter side. My butthole is screaming that it needs to poop. But I hope this episode wasn't too much. Like I said, I was trying to not cry, keep it a little lighthearted so it would be easier to digest. But just know whatever stage, oh wow. Okay, this is intense pain in my colon area, my butthole area, my rectum, my anus. Shut up. Okay. Anyway, whatever stage of grief you are in, I know a lot of people experience grief. Like I said, even if you haven't like lost a family member or a friend, a lot of people have experienced relationship loss, grief, friendships, and just know that whatever stage of grief you are in, you are valid and everybody feels things differently and goes through things differently and processes things their own way and copes with things their own way. And don't let anybody make you feel bad for your way of coping or grieving because that is your process and your process only. And as you guys know, I give little pieces of advice at the end of every episode I do. And my advice for you all is to allow yourself to feel the pain of grief. A lot of people suppress negative emotions. They don't want to be angry or sad, so they just suppress it and push it down. And then eventually though, it comes out at some point and it all builds up and you have a breakdown and it's so healthy. And also allowing yourself to feel the pain of grief, especially with death, it's like just allow yourself to feel like it's okay that you are not okay and you miss this person. Like allow yourself to process that emotion. It's so unhealthy to keep that in and just feel the emotion, feel the grief. It is okay. And also another piece of advice, say their names. Anybody that has passed away that you know, keep them going, say their names. You know how many people, actually this has nothing to do with anything, but you know how many people have passed away? Like my ancestors, like my great grandparents, like they don't get talked about anymore. No one that's even alive right now even knows them at all. So it's like that has nothing to do with it, but I was just going to say their names, tell stories about them, bring them up in conversation. Anybody that you know and love that has passed away, keep honoring them and keep saying their names and remembering them because you love them. And I'm going to forever say everyone's name because I love them too. So like I said, if you guys are going through grief, I have been there. You're not alone. My DMs on Instagram are always open, and my Instagram link is always linked in the description. So if you guys want to message me about grief, I am a judgment free zone. You can DM me, tell me stories, and I will gladly listen. And I love you all so, so much. Please like, comment, subscribe, turn the post notifications on. Comment down below if you have any podcast or video ideas you want to see. And I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye.